Hey guys, Charlotte here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make homemade pesto. You may or may not have seen a viral video going around about a girl who doesn't like store-bought pesto so much. Homemade pesto is incredibly easy to make. It's only like 5 ingredients depending on your preferences. And I have a little bit of specialty knowledge with this one because I actually live in Italy part-time. Different regions of Italy prepare pesto a little bit differently, but today we are going to be making it with pine nuts and garlic. Sometimes people omit the garlic, but I personally like the taste of garlic. I think it's delicious. So we've got all our ingredients laid out here, ready to go. Some critical mechanical components. We've got the food processor. We've got a really nice cheese grater, cutting board, good chef's knife, and then all of our culinary ingredients. Basil, garlic, pine nuts, Parmesan cheese, a good type, salt and pepper, which we'll add to taste. And then of course we've got extra virgin olive oil, we've got some lemons, and I have actually made the pasta ahead of time so that we can be ready to go once this pesto is finished. So the first thing we're gonna do is cut open these lemons and measure out the pine nuts, and we're gonna blend those together in the food processor. So I will go ahead and slice a lemon in half. Now the measurement of this lemon juice is also to taste, but I kind of do like mine a little bit tangy. So I'm actually gonna put it in the food processor straight away. And I'm gonna take out any seeds so that we don't blend those up into our pesto. All right, I did just under 1/2 of a lemon. And then pine nuts, I have pre-measured out 1/2 cup of pine nuts. So those are gonna go right on in. All right, so we've got our first 2 ingredients in the food processor, and I'm just gonna press it down to get going. Those are pretty well blended, and I think we're gonna get started on the next ingredients. So we're gonna need 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan. I like a lot of Parmesan, so I might go a little heavy on the parm, and I'm gonna grate it right up onto this plate so that it's easy for transfer into the food processor. Be careful when you do this. I have cut myself before, and cutting yourself on a cheese grater is pretty much the worst. All right, let's check how much we've got so far. We need a little bit more. All right, we're gonna still make a little bit more, but I'm gonna throw this in. You can be really choosy with your Parmesan if you want. The quality and designation of Parmesan is usually based on how aged it is. And the more a Parmesan is aged, the better it is, and the richer the taste really, and the harder it will get. So you've usually got like 18, 24, 36 month designations. And they measure it in months, even if it goes above a year. Nice. This is gonna be delicious. Okay, so at this point we need a little bit of moisture in here. Despite the fact that we have the lemon juice in there already, we need to get it a little wetter. So let's get this olive oil in. And generally you wanna choose a high quality olive oil if you can. A little harder to find in the States, but you can do it. Or if you're doing 2 cups of basil, you're gonna want 1/4 cup of olive oil. I can just kind of eyeball it at this point because I make homemade pesto quite a lot. Look at how good that looks so far. And whenever you notice that certain things are getting caught on the edge of the food processor, you can just give it a nice scrape on the sides and resume your blending. Cool. So we are getting ready for the main component. I'm gonna keep this cheese to the side just in case we want to add it at the end. And so the next 2 things that we've got to do here is add the basil and the garlic. Now the basil, you want to be careful to destem the basil. Those stems are not as tasty as the leaf of the basil. Basil should be like sweet and fresh and aromatic, and the stems are like vegetal and hard and not that good. So you can destem it. You don't have to be too careful. I've gone ahead and destemmed 1 of these cups of basil already so that you don't have to watch the whole process. This basil smells so good. I love to grow my own basil. There's nothing like picking basil from the garden to make in your own pesto or in really any other dish like a caprese salad, or maybe throw it on top of a margarita pizza. So delicious. All right, so now we're gonna put that basil in there a little bit at a time and pulse it up with the rest of the ingredients, and we will add more olive oil as necessary. It is so helpful to have a food processor for this. If you're just working with like a mortar and pestle or a blender, it can be quite tedious. All right, let's get those leaves in there. And a little more moisture from the oil. That is that beautiful green color we're starting to see, and we're ready for more basil leaves. Now, sometimes it can be kind of hard to get them all pulsed up evenly, so just add them bit by bit, and once they're all blended up, you can keep adding more and more basil. Wow, this is starting to look really good. We've got some more basil to add, so I'm gonna throw in a little bit more olive oil, and then our second cup of basil ready to go. Now, I mentioned before that different regions of Italy make pesto differently. Sicilians, for example, like to add pistachios rather than pine nuts in the basil. And northern parts of Italy don't like to put the garlic in there as much. All right, I'm gonna give this just a little stir to make sure those leaves get nice and pulsed. This is gonna be delicious. So I've been explaining that different people, families, regions in Italy, and of course around the world, like to make basil pesto differently. Some people actually put like spinach or rosemary or different components in there. And another variation that's pretty common is how creamy or leafy the basil is. I personally like a really creamy basil pesto. And when you make it really creamy, which means there's like a little higher proportion of cheese, you have to be sure to not put it on the pasta when the pasta is like piping hot, or it'll separate. So that helps that I've made my pasta ahead of time, so I can be sure about the temperature when I add everything together at the end. So my final component getting ready right now is the garlic. And I'm just crushing the garlic first with a chef's knife, and then I'm going to mince it and put it in and blend it at the end. Like I said, I really like the taste of garlic, so I'm gonna put in like 4 cloves. So I'm gonna smash up this last clove of garlic, blend it up, and then add the salt and pepper to taste, and we're gonna pretty much be there. Oh my God, that looks so good. Okay, we've got our salt and our pepper. I like a couple teaspoons, so I'm gonna eyeball it, and then I will use a spoon to give a little taste test. Freshly ground black pepper. 1 more pulse of the food processor. Okay, it's time for a taste test. This looks amazing. Oh my God, that's so good. Okay, I don't think I need to alter anything. I am gonna go ahead, get the pasta, and we will mix this all together. Another really important component, not just when you're making pesto, but when you're making literally any type of pasta, is to choose a good quality pasta made with good quality flour. And for pesto and saucy pastas in particular, you're going to either want a long, stringy type like this, or you're going to want one with like a hole in the middle, like a ziti. This one actually is both. So you can't really see it, but these curly noodles are hollow, which means that the sauce can kind of penetrate inside and you get a much tastier experience with your sauce all throughout your pasta. So I'm gonna take out the blade here. Yes! This is so good! All right, let's stir it up. That looks so good. And you may already know this, but Italians and people around the world should prefer their pasta al dente, which means not so done. So it should have just a little bit of bite left in the center. And one of those funny tricks that people tell you to make sure your pasta is al dente is that if you throw it at the wall, it should stick on the wall. So I was a little worried that I made too much pasta at the beginning, but this actually looks perfect. Like, this is the perfect distribution of sauce. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, full taste test, pasta and all. And the proper way to pick up your pasta, especially if it's long like a spaghetti or a stringy curly one like this, is to twist it around. Make sure you get a nice spoonful. So good. So this was really easy to make. We did this in like, I don't know, 10 minutes or less. I really recommend making your pesto pasta at home. You don't necessarily have to get all the ingredients fresh, but if you have fresh basil, you have really good quality Parmesan, lemons or lemon juice, garlic, pine nuts, or pistachios, or walnuts, or almonds. There's so many different ways you can make pesto, but it is one of the easiest things to make from home. So I'm gonna go serve this up to my friends and take a big heaping helping myself. I hope you learned how to make something unique today. And when you visit Italy, hopefully you'll be a little bit wiser about the types of pesto you can find in different regions. Thank you for watching today. Again, my name is Charlotte. I'm Coco Yogi on all social media channels. Make sure you check out my main OnlyFans page and say hello to me there. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.